On the morning of an important job interview, an incident occurred. I'm heading that way too, so I'll help you out. Oh, thank you. An elderly woman struggling with a large suitcase. I immediately offered to help, taking half of the load. So far, so good. After safely escorting the elderly woman to the ticket gate and handing over her luggage, I reached into my pocket to pass through the gate myself and realized, wait, it's not here. My wallet, which should have been in my pocket, was missing. The wallet contained my train ticket. I was sure I had it when I left home in the morning. I double-checked several times because my mom told me to. Did I drop it around here? I frantically looked around, but there were too many people to see it anywhere. With so many people walking around, it was impossible to find the wallet. I checked my watch in a panic, realizing there wasn't much time left before the interview. I guess I have no choice but to buy a ticket and head to the venue. But it bothered me to leave the lost wallet as it was. What should I do? If I keep dilly-dallying, I'll be late for both the exam and the interview. My mind was racing with various thoughts, and I was panicking, unable to make a sound decision. Just then, someone suddenly spoke to me. Are you looking for something? I turned around to see a gentleman in a hat, smiling warmly. He had such a calm aura that I almost forgot the hustle and bustle around me and answered him. "Ah, yes, I lost something. Is this yours?" The gentleman slowly extended a wallet. A navy blue checkered wallet. It was indeed mine. I exclaimed with relief. "This is it. Thank goodness. That's good. I'm glad you found it." "Thank you so much. You really helped me. If you don't mind, I'd like to offer you a token of appreciation. You're in a hurry, right? You'll miss your appointment," he said, and I looked at my watch to see the time for my planned train was approaching. I could still make it in time. "Thank you so much. I must be going now." I thanked him and hurried through the ticket gate. I managed to catch the train on schedule and arrived at the venue without being late. I settled into my seat, relieved. I made it in time. The exam started shortly after. I felt fairly confident about my performance. Next was the interview with the examiners. This was the most crucial part. Looking around, everyone's faces were tense. I needed to relax myself. I had to go in with confidence that I would definitely pass it. "Next candidate, please come in." The person before me finished their interview, and it was my turn. I entered the room nervously but followed the practice procedure. "Excuse me." As I entered and greeted, I froze the moment I looked inside the room. "Please take a seat." I recognized the smiling man sitting at the center of the long table. He was the same elderly gentleman who had picked up my wallet. He was smiling just as he had at the station. "Well, you made it here safely, I see." "Yes, thank you for earlier." "Mr. Johnson, was there something?" One of the interviewers sitting next to the elderly gentleman asked him. "Oh, just a little story. He was helping an elderly woman and almost got late." The elderly gentleman explained what had happened at the station, and the interviewers listened with interest. "Have you been watching me since then, Mr. Johnson?" I suddenly realized. I looked closely, and the elderly gentleman nodded with a smile. "I'm the president of this company. I was very impressed to see that you, despite your own situation, helped someone else. It showed me that you're a compassionate person." The interview went smoothly, and later, I successfully received a job offer from the company. Mr. Johnson is always smiling and takes good care of his employees. A company is nothing without its employees. If we don't value our staff, we can value our customers. He truly believed in putting employees first. That's why he took a special interest in new employee interviews, having memorized the faces of candidates from their resumes. He happened to see me at the station and decided to observe. He had seen me helping the elderly woman with her luggage and finding my dropped wallet, and he was the one who picked it up and gave it back to me. If Mr. Johnson hadn't been there, I might not have made it to the exam or the interview and could have ended up job hunting again. I vowed to work hard for Mr. Johnson and the company. Then, shortly afterward, something happened. Mr. Johnson suddenly passed away. It was within half a year of my joining the company. He had a heart attack, and it happened so quickly. I knew he wasn't young and wasn't in the best health, but I was speechless at the suddenness of it all. I hadn't even had a chance to repay his kindness. On the day I heard the news, I couldn't focus on work and went home to cry. A few days later, Mr. Johnson's funeral was held. Due to his personality, many mourners attended. Mr. Johnson's portrait in the funeral showed his usual gentle smile. As a new employee, I was told to wait in the corner, so I observed the visitors, and a woman entered. Despite wearing a modest mourning dress, she radiated an elegant beauty. Her straight black hair and large eyes were striking. "She's stunning," I muttered, and my colleague, James, spoke to me. "Don't you know, she's well known in the company." According to James, her name was Emily. She was the head of the sales department. I worked in administration, so I hadn't had the chance to meet her and didn't know about her. She was not only beautiful but also competent, and at her young age, she was already a department head. A true elite female executive. Wow, impressive. Emily completed her registration and entered the venue. People around whispered as they watched her. Some even looked displeased, which felt oddly uncomfortable. "Doesn't this seem weird? Everyone's attitude," I remarked, and James nodded heavily. "Well, yeah, there's a rumor that she was Mr. Johnson's mistress." "Really?" "Yeah, there's endless gossip. People say she only got her achievements by flattering Mr. Johnson, or her unprecedented quick rise is because she was Mr. Johnson's woman. But that's all speculation, right?" "Well, yes. The truth is a mystery." I looked at Emily again. Despite the surrounding rumors, which she must have heard, she was just looking at Mr. Johnson's portrait, closing her eyes and shedding tears. Whether it was out of pure respect or love, as the rumors suggested, I couldn't tell. Nevertheless, it was evident that she was genuinely grieving. Sometime after the funeral, I was transferred to the sales department. I became part of the team led by Emily, who then became my boss. "Nice to work with you. Good luck, Tom. Looking forward to working with you, rookie. Watch out for the leader's charm, though." My colleagues and seniors threw jeers and jibes at me. Despite being blatantly spoken ill of, Emily didn't seem bothered and continued to smile kindly. Afterward, she taught me about sales very kindly, even though I knew nothing about it. Sometimes she was strict, but she was always earnest. The environment in her department wasn't great. Everyone believed the bad rumors and talked behind her back. There must have been jealousy towards her for achieving a high position at a young age. Some team members even called her evil. But I couldn't believe those rumors after seeing her tears at the funeral. A person who mourns another's passing so deeply can be bad. That's why I just couldn't bring myself to believe the rumors. One day, as part of my sales training, I had the opportunity to accompany Emily to a meeting. Her work was impeccable. This smooth interaction without making the other party uncomfortable seemed hard to emulate. After the meeting, we went to have lunch together, and she asked me a question. "Do you think you can handle the sales job? It's challenging, but I'll give it my all. I promised the late Mr. Johnson that I would become a respectable professional and support this company." Upon hearing this, Emily looked surprised. "To the late Mr. Johnson, it's challenging, but I'm doing my best. I promised the late Mr. Johnson to become a respectable professional and support this company." "So am I," she said. Seeing my surprise, Emily smiled. It turned out that she too had been helped by Mr. Johnson when she was a newcomer. She didn't share the details, but it seemed like she had some very important memories associated with him. "That's why I also want to repay Mr. Johnson and support this company," she said, smiling. Seeing her smile, I felt a closer connection with her. After accompanying her on several work occasions, an unexpected incident happened one day. I was at a business entertainment event recently. The VIP from the other company seemed to really enjoy alcohol and started drinking heavily from the beginning. I like social drinking, but it can be so challenging. Thinking this, I focused on the task of entertaining. Emily was also drinking a little while pouring drinks for the other party. It seemed the other party was getting quite drunk. Looking at Emily, he smirked and said, "Emily, you are truly beautiful. Your presence alone brightens up the place." "Thank you," she replied. "Why are you in the sales department? A beauty like you should be in the secretarial division. The former president, Mr. Johnson, really missed out." Hearing those words, Emily momentarily stopped pouring drinks. I inadvertently stopped in my tracks too. If you were a secretary and always by my side, my days would be so much more enjoyable. I wonder if Mr. Johnson ever made a move on you. The client's representative burst out with a crude laugh. Emily forced a smile, but her face was tense. Hearing this, I felt my blood boil. His words towards Emily and the disrespectful remarks about her Mr. Anderson were too much. I couldn't hold back any longer. A part of me was screaming to stop, but my anger took over. I slammed the table, stood up, and shouted, "Don't you dare insult Mr. Johnson and Emily." I then splashed a pint of beer right in the client's face. For a moment, everyone around was stunned, not understanding what had happened. The client, drenched from head to toe, looked shocked. I don't remember much about what happened after that. Later, I was called in by the new president, Mr. Anderson, and was disciplined. I was fired. I don't recall what I did after that incident, but it seems I vented my righteous anger, upsetting the client greatly. Emily tried her best to defend me, but they said as long as I was with the company, they would cease all business dealings. "You're not entirely at fault, but please understand," he said. "Yes, I'm sorry for the trouble I caused. Thank you for everything up until now," I replied. I apologized to Mr. Anderson, who looked troubled. Thus, my career as a working professional ended less than a year after it began. My seniors and colleagues were sad to see me go and wanted to throw a farewell party, but I just accepted their good wishes. It wasn't a great ending, but I felt somewhat relieved. I wanted to protect the honor of Mr. Johnson and Emily. I don't regret it because it was for that reason. I might have let my anger get the better of me, but there was no falsehood in my actions. Well, it can't be helped. I need to start looking for a new job. As I thought about what kind of job to look for next, I headed home. Soon after, I started searching for a new job and managed to land some interviews. Before leaving home, I checked multiple times for anything I might have forgotten, and as I walked to the station, I couldn't help but look around, half expecting to see that old gentleman again. There's no way he's here. I chuckled to myself and was about to enter the station when an elderly lady with a big bag approached me, just like last time. "Excuse me, could you tell me where Platform 5 is?" "Platform 5 is over there. I'm headed to Platform 6, right next to it. Shall we go together? I can help with your bag." "Oh, thank you, I appreciate it." I took half of the old lady's bag and started walking. After guiding her to Platform 5 and seeing her off, I checked my watch and realized I had plenty of time before my train. Leaving early had paid off, ensuring I'd be prepared for any unforeseen circumstances. I was confident everything would be fine this time. Even if I had lost my wallet again. What? The wallet I thought I had put in my pocket was gone again. It's not here, not again. This can't be happening. It's absurd. I've been so careful since the last time and never lost it once, So why today of all days? Trying to calm my near panic, I took a deep breath. Calm down. I have time today. Let's search methodically. As I looked around, suddenly someone tapped me on the shoulder. Whoa! I let out a loud exclamation. The person who tapped me also seemed startled and let out a small scream. I recognized the voice and quickly turned around. You scared me with that loud voice. Emily. It was Emily, standing there. She was not in her usual suit but in casual clothes. Why are you here? This station wasn't near her home. As I looked puzzled, Emily held out a wallet. It was mine. You dropped this. Oh, thank goodness. Thank you. You know, you should stop keeping your handkerchief and wallet together. It's too easy to lose them. Yes, I'm sorry. Really, it's a good thing I happened to see it. Emily sighed with a wry smile. Why are you here, Emily? Do you have the day off? When I asked, she nodded slightly. I actually quit my job. What? Why? Since you left, the company's policies have changed a lot. I started feeling like they weren't a good fit for me, especially since they're not continuing the vision of the previous president, Mr. Johnson. That's why I handed in my resignation. The current president, Mr. Anderson, tried hard to stop me, but my mind was made up. Then, people who used to spread rumors about me suddenly started apologizing. Some even turned over a new leaf and became kind. Emily laughed, her expression surprisingly light. So, I thought, if I was going to be at that company, I might as well start my own. A company that carries on Mr. Johnson's legacy. What do you think? Good idea, right? She smiled. That's amazing. I was waiting for you at the station. James told me about you. Why me? When I asked, Emily beamed. I came to scout you. Let's start a company together. I think we'd work well together. What? I was speechless for a moment, not fully grasping what she said. Starting a company together that carries on Mr. Johnson's legacy. What an incredible opportunity. I immediately agreed. That sounds exciting. I'd love to join you. Thank you. Then let's start planning right away. Right now, when you decide to do something, you have to act immediately. Hearing that, I quickly sent an email to cancel the job interview I had scheduled for today. Emily gently took my hand and led the way. My second chapter in the corporate world began unexpectedly, but I couldn't be more excited about it. I'm sure Mr. Johnson, watching from heaven, would be proud. Now it's time to truly pay it forward. With that thought, I was filled with determination.